Good afternoon, everyone. This is Andy Stapleton with WXperts. We want to go over today a little new video. We haven't done one in quite a while, and the reason why is I've been a little bit busy, to be honest with you. But one of the things that we've been trying to do for the longest time is develop some systems that will help us manage projects. There's all kinds of things out there. You got Asana, you've got Jira, you got several different things out there, but all of them kind of fell short in our environment per se. There was a lot of it, the little things that just wasn't there that we use or we would need to use, things like that. So we embarked upon a couple things a long time ago, but we embarked on developing this in the space of the last 2 or 3 months and going through it, and really came up with a fairly good, a nice little system to manage projects, whether they are software development projects, hardware, installation projects, whatever you want to do. It really doesn't matter. Use it in your backyard to put together your garden if you wanted to. But what I want to kind of go over is a little bit of everything on this. We're going to go through each one of the tabs. We're going to go through each one of the sections within it, all the pieces that it can do, and step off into how each of these projects work together, how you can actually still utilize this to even bring on people that are not part of your organization. That was one of the things there. Everybody always had me getting on this user ID, that user ID, 4 project management systems that literally just drove me crazy because I had to log in on every one of them. You can actually have 4 or 5 different companies in here, which I have 2 now, which is WXperts and American Litho. And literally, you can be part of both of them with a single login. And that certainly helps because that's how I got these listed here. Since I'm already on American Litho and WXperts, I have a cross-reference that allows me to see both sets of projects of anything that I'm a team member of. We're going to go through each one of these sections here to kind of show you how it works, how you can do things. We'll add a few things to it. We'll add pieces to it and show you how that works and see if it fits your needs. We're looking at hosting this ourselves for everyone that wants to use it. And it also will take updates, installations, things like that. So we're kind of looking at building our own installation program, not installation program, but website for everybody uses their own store for their people if they need to. So let's step off into it. As you can see down here, the left-hand side, we got several icons. And these kind of just tell you about everything that's going on. You got your settings on top. This one here is for meetings. One of the things we added to this is a program called Whereby. Whereby allows you to have online meetings with your personnel, just the same as Zoom or several other ones out there. But we were able to easily bring this into our project and show it how it works. We'll bring in Pete a little bit later just to show you how that works when we get to that point as well. The other thing is the screen we're on right now is the third one down, or the project screen. This shows you every project we have in there. Now what happens in here is you can see we got some tasks remaining, completed, things like this, assigned, dev cycle. What we do is there in our database, which is a Postgres database up on the cloud, I calculate how many tasks there currently is in the system automatically. When you do that, it'll say how many of those has got completed. So we got 88% that hasn't been done, completed is 11%. Now it's kind of a little bit off there. There's a lot of the little tasks that have been done. I just haven't marked it, but I wanted to show you how that worked first, so that way you can get an understanding of how it is. Let's go down a few more. We got a few more around here we can look at too. Impulse retailing, 18%. Psych partners, 100% of those. These are brand new projects and stuff that I've been putting in here, and I still haven't gone through them all. So a lot of these down here for American Litho's got 0 because there's no tasks in them for right now. This is all running off REST calls. There is no database local to this. So we are calling a RESTful call to get all of this data. When we call the RESTful call, it brings back the data as quickly as we possibly can, and wham, you got this listed in front of you. So let's kind of step off a little bit and go through each one of the different buttons over here on the side. Of course, like I said, this one's this one. We're all right. This is documents. And documents allows you to add a new document. You can go down to a certain project. Let's say we'll go to Kanban as an example. And in there we have meeting data. We have different things going on that we can put as projects. We can come down to other projects such as Impulse Realty. We've got meeting notes, files, database. All of this is HTML editor code. So we can look through it and give ourselves everything that we need to develop the project. What this allows you to do is for a particular project you're working on, you can keep a set of notes as you're developing it with the customer or the people that are needing the project and get those details down, and you have in a one-spot area that helps you understand what's going on. Instead of writing it down on the big chief tablet and number 2 pencil. And you can just add a new one. Let's add one to Kanban. And we're going to add the new one here when you get down to Kanban and call it video link. When we do that, then when this video is over with, what I'll do is I'll post the video link right there, and we'll have the video link for it. Simple as that. Going down a little bit further, we have the timer. Now you have the ability when you come in here to choose the screen that you want to go to. And the way you do that is underneath your settings, you have several different things you can look at. If you look at your profile, one of the things that says, what is the first screen you want to go to? Projects, timer, quality assurance, or none of it? Well, if you go to timer, you're going to go to this screen first. So if you're constantly working on the same projects, 2 or 3 of them, you don't need to go through the projects very often. The smart thing to do is set that to projects and let it go. There are other things in here. What are you? Are you a developer, a design analyst? Are you part of quality assurance? Do you do the publishing, distribution, maintenance, risk mitigation, and documentation? The reason why we have those in there is because due to some of the larger companies like American Litho, Chase, stuff that we have to work with, they expect to have separations of duties between individuals. So what this allows us to do then is you can set, what am I going to do? What are they going to do? What is my partner going to do? What is my other team members are going to do? And that way you can show them, hey, you've got a difference in job tasks. Things can go that direction. Of course, you got the manager, user, admin. That won't show up if you're a user, I can promise you. And whether you're tracking time or not. There's 2 other little tricks in here. Show the dashboard when you come in. And the dashboard is a way for us, since we work with some people outside the United States, is it's based upon your time frame, and it allows you to know what the time frame is in those areas. So, you know, currently it's 6:50 p.m. in Nigeria, 5:50 a.m. in New Zealand. These are some people that we talk to on occasion, and we certainly don't want to wake them up too early or wait too late. So this allows us to do that. The other thing is start chat at startup. The chat at startup is a window that we develop. Now this is the cool feature that I think that everybody should like. We have been developing WebSockets and working with WebSockets to do several things. One is for a system for Chase, check matching, but in doing so, one of the things on the training bit in working with a gentleman that I'm working with on it, we used chat room to kind of get our feel about how the thing should work, because we know how we want to work a chat room. So the idea is that you're still able to separate the transactions, do the things that's necessary to be done, and keep them from different areas that needs to happen. And so we have the chat room. As you can see here, Pete and I have been using this for a little while. We got a little bit of chatting going on. I'm going to let him know that I'm on here, and we'll just have some little chat here for the moment, and be good. Let's see, just a second here. Got to get the right one. So, let's see if he's on. He should be waiting for me. And this is also HTML, so I can actually post a picture. I can do what I want with it. It stays at the bottom like it's supposed to. This is using WebSocket, so we should get back to, if he's got a message immediately, he should come back to me here momentarily, and you'll be able to see his answer. That is to start up at, we can have this checkbox on here to start up. So that starts up automatically. You can move it. It's an open sister, so you can move it off to a different screen so you have your chat going. It gives you the date and time when you had it, and we go from there. He's saying, I don't feel like it. Your team losing. And then we're on football, American football. So we can chat back and forth like this and talk about different things. There's a new version of Kanban waiting for you out there. And then he can do it. He didn't play this week, so he didn't get to play. His football team didn't play. So we're able to do this. The second thing about it is you notice that his name is up here in chat. If I had another person on here, which, okay, not everybody's going to be on, but let's go Terry Mulligan, which we've kind of seen his name out there. I can have a chat with Terry, and as soon as he gets the product, and then if I want to, I can separate that chat and have it in a totally different chat. So we're using the tear off tabs to be able to do this. Okay, this makes it really nice to be able to do good things with what we're trying to accomplish here. Okay, somewhere around here, I know I'll get it right. There we go. So we have the tear off tabs, and we use that on several different ways inside this system. So this is one of the great things. Chat room using the WebSockets that just came out in the last version or so. And we've kind of put it all together. It's working great. We have the web service up there, and you can put anybody's name in there that is part of the systems, okay? But they have to be on the WXKanban in order for you to chat with them. So it's business-related chat. It's not social chat as much as anything else. I want to talk with them about projects that need to be done, issues that need to be solved. So he said, it's cold and rainy, spending the day on the couch under my blankie. Okay. Well, keep warm. Talk to you later. And this kind of keeps us on track of what we need to do. So that's our chat room. So let's get on out of here. We got everything we need here. So when you come down, if you're in this, now what you have here is all of your task reports. These are all tasks that have been assigned to you, or you have said it's your favorite, things like that, and we'll go through that. Incident reports are things that come from your program. We have a class that we'll go through in a little bit on that you can put in any one of your programs because it's REST utilized, and it will send you error reports, management reports, things like this directly to this project. it will be expanded as we move forward. Okay. Things like that, and it shows you whatever issues it's over with. This shows you any exceptions that came up. Okay. They're doing some testing. It's got some screencasts for a problem he has. We've got an error on a SQL statement that they don't like. We can go through all that. Everything that we need to have is here. And the way I've got it situated is that if it is what I'll call a list, a task list, it will give you all of the tasks that are underneath that list. Let's go back and take a look at that real quick, and I'll show you what I mean. The other thing about this is the same as everything else. If you notice, I have 3 tabs up here, and I can actually tear that off, move it over to a different screen, and work both of them at the same time. That's what you can do. Each one of these in dark black is a task list. Now, you can have a task list within a task list. Okay? And the reason why I do that is that in this instance here, like dashboard clocks, if I went and edited that and turned it into a task list instead, now what that allows you to do is say, okay, I want to work on everything that deals with the dashboard clocks. So any little thing that needs to be done can be listed underneath, and you can go through it. Same thing with the chat windows, release, everything like this. So the release tasks of doing that, discussions, stuff like this is all in there. And what I do in order to run my day is that I will coordinate the tasks that I need to do by the lists that are there. I will assign individual tasks to different people, but I'm looking at trying to do several things. So if I'm doing release tasks that are all coordinated together, it's all the items that need to be done before you can release. Licensing module, which I just finished. I'm creating the video now. Beta testers, I've had 2 or 3 that volunteered to do that. We still got to put together a little bit of a website that Pete has to put together, subscription fee, and we're also determining the whereby, which is the chat, the video conferencing functionality, which has some timing issues and costs associated with that as well. And this is how it's done. So when I have a general and I need to add another one, I can create a subtask. If I know there's several of them, I can create multiple subtasks. I just loops through the form and let you put in as many as you need to. I can convert a task to a task list here. I can add a new task, just a task by itself. Of course, you can do all the copy and the other stuff to it. If you make a lot of change, this full rebuild goes back out to the rest, says, give me all the data again, and I'll rebuild this like I need to do it. There's still some little features on this that I need to do. One of them has to do with the task list itself and making sure that when you make a change or you move it around and everything, it moves around without a whole lot of jumping and rebuilding. Working on the collapse and expand part that will work per individual instead of globally. Things like that. You've got to show all this says go get everything that we had in there. You can see a bunch of the tasks has got lines through it. These are things that have been finished. Okay? Stuff like that. And that's what we do. The other parts about this is you have the home screen. Let's kind of go through this. This is the first thing you get into. First thing you get into when you build when you're going to do a project development. You obviously got the title of it. You got a start and expected release date. If it's an internal project, you may not do that. Software development project, is it a software only, or is it some kind of other project? You can say who's the lead to it. Do I want to exclude this from the use of the development cycle? In other words, I'm not going to put it on anybody's development cycle. Okay. or not. If you do have it there, then it becomes part of the ability to build the dev cycle. You've got a color for the background of pieces of it, and whether this is an internal project or not. Let me put this back in here. Okay, so if it's an internal project, it's going to put your company name there right off the bat. You don't have to fill this in. If it's for another company, well, then you get to put in the company that's requesting the project, who their contact is, address, city, state, zip, and you're off and running, okay? Separation of duties. This all kind of sets up and starts talking about how things are done. You get, by default, you put them on your name of anybody that you can. If you need somebody else on there, you can select somebody else that needs to be on it, that who's going to be responsible to it or not, however that works, okay? I can also change the image that I want, and this image is what is displayed on the list there on the left-hand side. You can change it for whatever you want it to be. And here's the other thing that we can do that's in our area that's not in most other systems. We have configurations. When we develop, Pete and I develop any of our stuff, and I'm getting others to do the same thing, is that we're having at least 3 configurations in this current project. One is the actual executable, which is what we're running now. The next one is the REST services. As you can see, that's the second one down here is the REST services. And then we're going to have a mobile Android to pick up some things. And we're also going to have the website. So that's the 4 configurations we have in the system. Each one of them has their own GUI ID that go with it. Why do you say that? In doing this, you want to be able to tell one application from another. Because when you put in the process, or when you put in the class to manage your project, that GUI ID there, that project GUI, is what tells the REST program where to put the task. Okay? Let me kind of give you a hint on that there. Okay? By doing so, then it knows what it needs to do. And any of the errors go underneath automatically the incident reports and goes from there. Other ones that are going to be coming out is management, if you want to deal with how many times people get into certain things or not, stuff like that. All of them are kind of situated that way. Let you get around it. Hang on a second here. So we have a class in here called WXAppManager. And as soon as it all comes up, I'll show you. So the App Manager class, come here. Has a couple things to it. Got the upgrade, but we also have, get up here where it is. Okay, WXAppManager. Okay. You get a couple things with it. This gives you access to the REST, is what these 2 do. Your user and password will give those to you, and the base URL where the REST call is what it is. And then from there on, within the App Manager class, we have set up to where we've overloaded the error handling to use this instead. Okay? And it will then send the class or send the error report to us. So let me show you that real quick. Okay. This creates a task, and that's a duplicate. Here's the WX error. So what we're doing is we're overloading the error and error handling, and calling WX error instead. And this will then put in a task and incident reports or create incidents report and send it to the system. And it all knows what it is because of this project GUI ID. Now it knows which project to put that incident report in. It doesn't matter whether this is an executable, a website, Android, or REST. It's going to put the error out there so you can see it before your customers start complaining about it and start trying to do workarounds. You can get things fixed fairly quickly this way. It works out very nicely. As that expands, we'll go over it a little bit more, and I'll utilize this to kind of show you how that works. But it allows you now to do multiple configurations. And what we do is you generate that when you need it. And then if you got an EXE, there's your EXE to run. And then if you have an install program, you can put your install program here. And what happens is when you do your install program, you can click that upload, and it will literally pick it up and move it up there to the cloud via REST. And once you have it up there, if you click the update, okay, once you click the update, it will then change this executable number here to whatever the current one is in the EXE. You save the project, and the next time they log on, they get an automatic update on that project. Simple. Simply done. So let's get back in there for just a minute and look at the other things. We have the team members. These are team members that are on these projects. These are people allowed to look at this project. If you're not a team member or an owner, you're not allowed to look at the project. So you can have quite a few projects in there, and certain people can look at certain projects, other people can look at other projects, but they're not going to get downloaded to them anything that's not listed as them being part of the team. You also have, okay, we went through the tasks. We have project notes here, which we talked about earlier. We have documents. So if you get documents, you can add a document. It'll show it there. If it's PDF, it will show the PDF documents. I really kind of look at look to make sure that you have as many PDFs if you're going to have anything at all. Do those. You also have a change log. So if any changes come up, part of the task management system is be able to click as a change log and let you put in what you changed or what you fixed on there. So now when you release your next one, you've got a change log that says, here's the problems that showed up, here's the fixes for those problems. We also got a full-blown Gantt chart, how much time you spend on anything, and all you have to do is put your number of hours on your task of what you expect it to take, and this will fill out for you. The second thing is design. We've brought in the designer here so that way you can literally put in what you want and design how that process works. If you got somebody that knows how to do it, and my strong suggestion, especially if you're working with different team members around everywhere, is that you do force the issue about having them design out how they think it do and go over it before they build it. It'll save you time. Now, you're not talking about detailed, nitpicky, one thing after another. That's kind of Q&A kind of stuff. This is more like, I need you to go get this database stuff. I need you to display it on 2 screens, and I need you to do this, so you end up with a nice little functional system, which you can add, move it around, process stuff, and then tie the things together, okay? Turn it around, whatever you need to do, and you can tie the things together and save it, okay? The last thing on the list is licensing. If your executable is a commercial licensed product, okay, then you can create a new license for that individual. The licenses can be set up to be a demo and the number of days that it's active. You put in the name, the email, who it's going to, their address, state zip, all the additional, what license date when it started, When do you want it verified? Like say you want it verified once every 30 days, so you put it in there that I want it verified next month. And expiration date of, okay, he's got a year's license, so you punch that out for a full year, and you say he's paid through the full year as well. Save that, you got a license. You can do it on a monthly basis, weekly, however you want to do it. It makes no difference. But each one of them, you generate a GUI ID for that license, and that is their license GUI ID. You send them. And when they open up the project, the first thing it does is ask them, oh, I'm glad you're here. What is your license number? They put that in there. It saves it locally. You're off and running. Everything is working peachy. So you notice there's 2 licenses in here now, one for me and the other one for American Litho. And that keeps things separated, and each one of them has their own deal on there. So that's the main things about the project itself. Each one of these pieces take care of that. So I can have multiple projects open. I can have Kanban open, and I can have upgrade servers from them open, and you'll see another tab show up here. I can be able to pull them out, put them on different screens if I want to, things like that. Move them around. Pretty much everything's pretty easy that way. You see I got a different name on here. This one's not a software development project. Do need the lead though. Okay. And you save projects up here. Okay. And you exit out. If you're billing your time, you're consulting and you're billing the time, you have this, which is all of your time that you're putting in for different projects. So if you're billing your time, this is how you can do that, and that is all based upon your timesheet. When you click on this and start a time, you can see the time starts working up here, and a little clock shows up here down here in the bottom left-hand corner. You need to pause it. Just press the button. It pauses. Turn back on, and it continues. Okay? That's how things work. If you want to save that time, click on the little button here. It will bring it up, and you can log the time, or you can delete the time, or do whatever you want to do with it. And delete it, because I don't need it. Okay? And what that does is get rid of it, and then you're off and running. But this allows you to manage your time. Now, when you're working with new people, my suggestion is do the time anyway. It's not billable time. It's not money that you're trying to make unless you are doing consulting. But it does allow you to see how long it takes a person to do a task. Because not everybody runs at the same speed you do. They may run faster. They may run slower. But they're not going to run the same speed you do. And until you as a project leader understands how long it takes different people to do different types of tasks, the smart thing is to do that. You can look at, okay, he did 15 tasks, 4 screens, 5 reports, 2 rest, whatever it is, and this is how long it took him to do that. I need to work with him a little bit on the screens because they're taking a little bit longer than I thought they would. Things like that. And you could help train the people to be more efficient and better at what they do by doing that. Now, that's up to you. The only thing mandatory or the only thing useful about this, if you don't want to track the time, is to be able to get projects done by being able to finish. They can click that and be done with that particular task. It's over and done with. If they got submit claims like this, they can click, stuff like that. Okay. That is what the time is. Now let's look at the development cycle. I don't particularly like calling anything a sprint. First of all, I don't run that much anymore. Don't care. So I don't do the sprints. But I do a development cycle. These are the things that I want to do for the next 2 weeks, whatever I want that development cycle to be. I can set up a project. It'll give me every one of the tasks. You can see I've got every one of the tasks that we have there. I can say what team member I want. I'm going to do them all, don't care, but let's do us a new dev cycle. Okay? So this is final beta dev cycle. We're going to start it. Automatically starts for a week. Testing final beta. And save that. So now what happens is, let's say I'll take the release here, and I'll give it to myself. Automatically, when I do that, you can see it is here on the Kanban of not started. Now, this is the team member. In other words, if I have something that I want Pete to do, let's say I want Pete to do this, I can come down here and say, Pete, you get to do that, and it'll pop up his name there. This is a project management Kanban. Yes, you can manually move them, but here's the trick. If in that instance there, I start putting some time on that final beta, it will automatically move to in progress. Automatically move to in progress. If I complete the tasks, it'll automatically move to code review. Code review then says, okay, I need to look at it before I give it to Q&A just to make sure it covers all the bases that I want to do. So when we're talking about dealing with stuff that Pete's doing on the whereby, well, I want the documentation to show me all of certain deals on that. So when he goes to code review, I go look and see what kind of documentation he put in there for the whereby, which is our video conferencing software. Okay, it's complete. Now I can move it to Q&A. That's our beta tester. We're done there. We're going to the beta testing process now. Underneath that, when the Q&A guy, whoever's doing the Q&A, says, yes, it's working like we expect it to, he will move it to complete, and we're done. That's how the Kanban works. This is just one of them. Now, there's two different Kanbans. You have this Kanban, and you have a personal Kanban. This is your very own Kanban that you can work with. And that is here. When you click this, it'll pop up, and now I've got my Kanban. You can see I got several things on my Kanban that are not part of the development cycle. These are things that I want to do all the time. These are things that I may have in progress. I may have in code review. I can drag those around wherever I need them and know where I'm at overall in a more simplistic view of what's going on instead of trying to keep up with tasks all the time and say, okay, I have got these items in there. So if I'm doing dashboard clocks, that'll be a dashboard clock. That's what it's going to be. Even though it includes subtasks, that's fine. The subtasks are just the items that have to be done. Let's give an example. I need to put in a customer screen. What's the customer screen supposed to do? It needs to add, change, or delete customer names. What needs to go on the screen? I need to put all of the customer information on the form. Now, the first thing is the customer screen. The customer screen then is the task list. Task list says customer screen. The subtask is add, change, or delete. Must add, change, or delete. Next thing is putting all the customer information on the screen. And the third and final bit underneath that is making sure that the database and the screens match, that you didn't miss anything on it. So I got 3 tasks to do underneath that customer screen. And that would be on here. I would complete each one underneath. And when I completed the whole thing, it would move to the next one, and you're off and running. It's working pretty nicely. So this is your personal one. So you got a full-on development cycle that you can put out there where you can put everybody's tasks that you want them to do over the next period of time. You can call it a sprint if you want to. You can call it a development cycle, whatever you want to call it. Merry Christmas. It's yours. And this is Kanban, and it works very, very nicely. Okay? Works very nicely. If you complete the cycle, then you just mark that completed and everything's done on it, as far as that's concerned. Finally on this is, of course, we got the chat room. This is the chat room that fires up automatically. If for some reason you got it closed, let's say we closed it here. And I don't want to see it again. I can pop it back open again. It'll come there, and I can click on Pete's, and I'll get all the past messages we had. We can go through them and different things like that. That's okay. That's how that works. And the final thing I'm working on, and this is still outstanding, and I am trying to get it connect with my Google account. Okay? And what I'm wanting it to do, and I'm still working on it obviously because it doesn't seem to be wanting to work on it right now. I guess it's going to fail, so let's not do that. Is I'm trying to get the calendar to work here with your Google Calendar, as well as later on other people that have calendars like an Outlook or something like that, get it to use that as well. So this gives me everything I have in meetings, stuff like that. I can look at the whole thing for dates, Halloween coming up, things like that. And you got a full-blown calendar of events that you need to handle. If it's part of your Google Calendar, then you can actually bring in all the Google Calendar. It'll show as well. And like I said, the whole idea is to give me one tool that does everything, period. I think there's an opportunity to also write interfaces to Jira and Asana and them. And what will happen then is if you have a company that uses Asana or Jira and they want you to use those, then you can hook them into your system here and bring in their information. I'm looking at possibly doing that later on. But I am absolutely looking at a one-time, one-way to get this done. Now, let's do a video and let me show you how that works. I'm going to tell Pete you got a video. And what you want to do on the video is you click on this. This project, we'll go over project, the title. I want to have a meeting. I can set it for in the future if I want to. This is where we're talking about going on the calendar. And when you click on this button, it will automatically start the video in the browser as well as give you or send it to the other individual. Okay? And when that happens, we are here. This is the video that started. You have the ability to change the background in these. You can do all kinds of things in it as you go across. I can check the background effects and tell it, okay, well, let me be in the cabin for right now. And then I'm in a cabin before I talk to anybody. Okay? When Pete comes on, he'll be over here and talking as well. And this is how you can have a conference. This comes straight out of the system. Now, the unfortunate thing about this one is that depending upon the number of people, there are minutes associated. You got quite a few that are not, you don't have to pay for. But bottom line, the process is the same. And here comes Pete. Hello, Pete. Just say hi to everybody. I just want to say hi to everybody. Show them the video. So now you can go back and get back in his blankie. He can jump back in his blanket. All right, bye. So we have our meetings there. Like I said, there's a number of minutes that goes with it. So there will be a different fee associated with that. When this works out, we're looking at $5 per person to use it. As far as that's concerned, that just covers our cost on the cloud systems and stuff that we have to pay for to process everything. And that's what we're looking for in the future on this. There'll be more coming out with it. Beta cycle will last, well, we'll see how things go. I think probably a week or two. And I'll put out another video of release as well as any additional features that we may have on it. Probably have some more data filled out, like in the calendar, will be working for sure. Projects will have more information on it. You'll be able to see how things go. We'll have a whole deal where people can talk about how they're using it, things like that. So I want to go over one thing, which is, again, that app, WX app. Now, there's a couple things that we do in this, and this is where it works part completely with this project as well, okay? So, part of it is two things. One, get up here. You have the upgrade class. The WX upgrade class has to have the project GUI ID, otherwise it won't be able to find it, okay? In doing so, there are certain things that are standard. That's the progress window and the progress control. Those are just little windows we got that you'll have with it. And what it's doing then is checking for the upgrade. Basically, it uses that GUI ID, it goes up there and gets the last version of the EXE, last version of whatever you have in the website, or the last version that you have set up for your REST or Android or iOS program. And it says, okay, is there an upgrade? If there is an upgrade, then what it will do is download that installed name immediately via REST call. This will work on Android too. I will be testing it on the Android. I will make sure it works because I want to have the ability to have the MDM manager and things with it. There's still a few things that's not quite right, but it also allows you to not even use that and get upgrades to your Android and your iOS as well as things fairly easy that way. Of course, you're not going to do that for sites or REST because you have to publish it. But EXEs, Androids, and iOS, this should be able to be workable with it. Okay? So you fill in this. It gives everything that you need. You're done. This is a class that you'll receive with this as well. Now we go a little bit step further. The Kanban, which is we're using Kanban, we have an app manager. The app manager then uses what the user and password and signing key that we give you. Those are your user ID, your password, and your signing key for all of the data back and forth. We use a signing key to encrypt all of your data from the REST to you and you to the REST. So that way everything is secure. Even though you use an HTTPS anyway, this doubles the security is what it does. So you've got a nice, solid, secure basis of sending things back and forth. We got the base URL. The base URL obviously is the REST program we're running, and the project GUI ID again, which is the project, okay? And then what we're doing there is we're going to go fetch the project information so we have that in memory as we run along. From this, let's look and see here, WX error. WX error is everything has happened. Okay, so let's look at this. Now, this is on a different one, but it'll work just fine. So we got an H connection here. If the configuration is REST services, we have a connection error. Otherwise, we're going to call the DUP manager WX error. H open connection failed, project line code it was, and text HTML for the error full details. So in other words, at this point, it's like a crash, and the crash I'm sending to the REST call in order to come up on your incident reports. That's what it's for. Okay. all of that goes on through this entire process. Now, at the bottom, I just had to implement because we were debugging. When I debug, you kind of turn this off so that way I actually get the error instead of everything in it. We got the same problem. If you got an exception throughout the entire program, no matter where it is, you can use a case exception right at the beginning of your program here and catch that error. So if it's a web service, we're going to write log that we got a program exception. Otherwise, we're going to call the WX manager WX error and send the program exception text to HTML and send the whole details of the exception info to the incident report task list. Here's the cool thing about it is that will also give you the line of code, what's green, everything you need with it to find out and minimize the problem. Are we going to have graphs come up and things like that like the current telemetry does? Maybe. I don't know. Telemetry works pretty well. This just gives me a way that I can control what tasks I want in there. The telemetry will show you that you had an incident. It will show you the errors. It will show you where the code is, the whole 9 yards, which is a very, very nice feature that they have for us. But the thing that I can't do is that in order for having it part of my task list show up, it doesn't put it in there. And number two is that there's other certain features that I'm looking to do that it will not trap, like SQL error problems, things like this. So if somebody loses connection to the SQL deal, it gives me an error saying, hey, you lost connection, and I'm trying to figure out why they lose connection. Okay, things like that. So we go from there. Now, where that comes in is basically here. Anything that I'm doing, any SQL statement, stuff like this. Let me see, what am I on here? I'm on, this will be REST services. Instead of calling just error, information, so that way you get the error to the screen, I call WX error instead. And if you go in there, you have a couple things with it. I can actually do the WX error, or if you have the display flag on, I can show you the error as well. So I can do both if you wanted to. This is up to you what you want to do with it. You have the class, you can manage it however you wish. This allows me to do certain things. If we can't delete, what are we going to do? We're going to send back the H error info for that WX error. And it traps it. It gets it to you and gets you to understand what problems you have constantly. So this handles every one of the errors in your application and gets them to you so you can correct any issues that you may have. That's what the WX App Manager does. Now, that's going to increase in abilities. I'm looking at trying to figure out ways to do user-defined statistics. Some of the simple ones is, okay, how many times has this screen been used, that kind of things, how many users has been on the system, stuff like that, which is the same thing that telemetry does. But there may be a statistic that you want to use of what's the number of records and time frame that it took to get the records from a cloud system. That's very important. So let's say that I'm doing a select asterisk from customers, and I'm jumped from 20 or 30 that they have, which is quick, to 40,000. Or I've got transactions, and there's over 10 million transactions in the database. Well, you're not going to select them all and bring them all down because, first of all, memory won't handle it, and second of all, it's just way too much to push across the cloud anyway. So you might want to use a statistic there that you want to track and say, okay, it's set to 5,000. That takes 1.5 seconds on average from each one of the individuals that I have out there. I want to drop it down. So let's drop it down to 2,500. Now it's taking less than a second. Customer sees it as a faster system. He's not going to be looking through the bottom end of the 2,500 records. He's going to be looking for what he wants, or he's going to further filter it anyway. So it becomes much quicker for them to deal with. Okay. There may be other statistics that somebody else may think of. I'm not sure, but I'm going to try to get some information from people as we use them to see whether or not that they, that they can work with it and give me ideas as much as I have ideas of what I want to use them for. So we're going to have a WX statistic when it comes out. And all I do is I'll send out the class saying this is your new update for the class and an example of how to use that process. Okay. Chat room. If you're wanting to learn WebSockets, if you're wanting to learn WebSockets on how they work, how you can manage them, even if you want your own chat room, that I don't really care about one way or another. I will certainly do my best to put something together and you can move on from it yourself, or you can utilize our experience and we'll help you put something together. Okay? Maybe do some horse trading for some other folks out there that speak other languages, read and write other languages that I don't with this, so we can actually have it multilingual as we move forward as well. Other than that, I am not sure if there's anything else to particularly discuss here. We've gone through all the pieces, okay, of the project. We've gone through everything that we have here. I am certainly happy about where this is from my standpoint in working it. We've been using it for our own uses now for about a month, and it has worked out nicely, and we've tweaked it as we needed it for each of the projects we're working with. That's why I've kind of got down to the point where I'm using task lists and small things underneath them. Stuff like that. You can edit a task directly from here. As far as that's concerned, and see what it is. You can also turn around and edit a task here and bring it up and see what it is. You can do both. You can move tasks around. You can give it a new parent. There's a lot of flexibilities in it. So what I want from a beta tester, I've got 2 or 3 right now. I know at least 2 of them are singles, and I know 1 is a multiple. I'd like to have 1 more multiple, okay? So if you have 3 or more developers working on your projects, we'd like to talk to you. If you're one of the guys that use Pete and I for different things to help you with and got a couple, that's even better. Like I said, one of the processes here is being able to select a developer from another business that is using this same project and put them on your project. That would allow you to do things like, hey, Andy, I need some help with this WebSocket. Well, put me on the project. Now it comes up on my list. You can give me a few tasks with it. I can finish those tasks and say they're done, and we're all finished, happy, everybody goes on. You can easily tell somebody that is wanting to do some work with you, you got to have Kanban. You can put them on your deal and move forward with it and take him off when you're done. Or you can say you got to have your own Kanban in order to work with us. Yeah, however you want to do it. I think it'll work out nicely that way. Any questions that you may have towards this, email me at andy@ccscowboy.com. Let me put that up there for everyone. Thought I had. So you can email me at andy@experts. And let me get that level out. And 865-268-2889. Okay. There's one, the WX app manager also does the licensing bit as well. I forgot to say something about that. But either one, give me a holler, see if you like it. I really like to get a lot of people using it. I think it's going to do us, as far as WinDev and WebDev developers, a lot of good utilizing these things. It's all for me right now. If there's things that people want to go over a little further, please give me a holler. We'll be glad to do so. Other than that, thank you for your time today. We will talk at you later. Be good or be good at it.